Food Foresters. This is Tutu Signs, and I wanted to show you a few things that I gathered from the garden today while I was doing my normal pruning and walking around, and they can all be turned into living plants from this point. So we have over here, we have banana, and then these are all Swiss chard. There are a couple onions. There's a peach. There is a little bit of a wild flower called feverfew. And if you look very closely, I just pulled it up, but you see the roots are there. So you got roots on a lot of these. Let's see, even this one is a stem part, but see all this brown layering here? This type of stuff could easily grow into roots when it's underground. So that's fun stuff. And then the funny thing about these nopales petals, they make the prickly pear, this plant. But if you leave one of these petals out, even if it's sitting out on a table or something, it'll start growing a new cactus. So that's fun. So I want to take you on a little tour of the food forest so you can see division in action. These are some ornamentals growing up near our patio, and I just love ivy geraniums and all kinds of geraniums. So sometimes when I'm out walking around and I see a pretty one, I'll just snip a little piece off of it. You know, I usually try to consider, am I helping prune this into a place where it shouldn't go? And I take a piece off as if I was the gardener and just bring that piece home, and then it turns into a new plant for me. And I'll show you some of the very fun ones that I got. Oh, this is citronella. This was huge. We just cut it back recently. Something like this grassy one, this you can break little bulblets out of the bottom of that. And because the grasses have bulbs on the bottom that you can replant. Okay, and I'll show you some more of the geraniums. And you can do the same with pinching off succulents. And I'll show you, this is one succulent that you can actually eat. It's called elephant food. And it all you have to do is break it and stick it in the ground and it'll grow. So that's fun stuff, but I want to take you out a little farther back into some different areas, and we'll look at some different kinds of division. So this is a fairly new garden that I started, and you can see a lot of fennel, and some of it's falling over because it's getting heavy. And that's how it's going to lay its seed in a new spot. So you can see with the fennel also, they have clumping roots. So when you see clumping roots, you can take, a shovel and dig in there and get some pieces of the roots. And then you can place those in a pot and restart their roots in that soil. Or a lot of times if you have really great soil, you could just put it right in the ground. This is a little sugar cane here. That was a piece of sugar cane, like that. And all you have to do is break off a piece and stick it in the ground, and it will grow another sugar cane, and you'll have plenty to share. So that's division. And let's look at another fun thing. Okay, bananas. These bananas all started from one banana, and you can see how they make little new baby bananas. You can dig those up, and the roots, they have their own set of roots. So what you try to do is dig out the banana with its roots, and then you can move it to someplace else or put it in a pot. Okay, and then you can take cuttings off of trees like this loquat tree, and a lot of times you have cuttings anyway because you're pruning, and you can start cutting by putting the ends on root powder. You can look up your specific plant and figure out good ways that it would like to overwinter. Always remembering that there's growth nodes, specific growth nodes in the plants. And so they're like where every leaf comes out, that little node where the leaf joins the stalk is a growth node. It has extra growth. So a lot of times those nodes can work either to make a leaf, or if it's underground, they can make roots. So see that? A lot of times those bare nodes can grow roots when you put them underground. So that's a fun one. And I just wanted to show you also, let's see. So I made this pioneer garden just by breaking off succulents, just to kind of absorb some sunlight and cool the place down, because before there was nothing here. But again, you see the fractal pattern of the bananas, division by roots. Oh, this little thing, our doggie has been trampling in here, getting out lizards. But this is a Mexican sage. It's a little dry right now, but this I planted here from pieces that I picked off of another plant, and I just stuck them in the ground. So you could see, and you can probably even pull out roots out of something like this. So you may not have that growing where you are, but you may have something that behaves like that. And then I seeded this field with Swiss chard, and I want to show you how cool the Swiss chard is. Like, see how it put out that stalk, and then on that stalk there's little Swiss chard plants growing. Looks like they're making their own soil. So that is a really fun one for division. That's fractal multiplication by stems and getting new plants from stems. And you can see here how much growth is happening in each node. So the Swiss chard is one of our primary ground covers out here now. I have it like throughout that area and over in this area. And it does get a little scragglier looking in the summertime, but it survives. And in the springtime and winter, it's more beautiful. But still, it's providing food for the wildlife and for us. It's multiplying fractally. Oh yeah, and then like collards and onions, they will do the same. I was gonna show you. Oh, and this, you can take a piece of a grapevine, like we did, my son and I, we did this. We just pruned off a piece, put it in rooting hormone powder, and buried it in the ground. And we got that one right there, and this one right here. It's kind of crowded. That can work. You can just cut off a piece of grapevine and root it. So that's really fun. These are collard greens in here. See this? Very easy to grow plant. It's like a weed. And so you can also break off a piece with the nodes on it. Like this would be a nice place to break this off. And look, you'd have a little plant. You just put it right in the soil. See that? So, you know about nodes. So many ways you can propagate without seeds too. And these guys here, this is feverfew. It's looking a little seedy right now because it's been hot, but it's still quite alive. And all of this above ground is stuff that has even roots on it. So you can pull out, or you could just pull out one of these stalks. I'll take this one. Look at that. Boom. There's a new plant. Okay, yeah, I wanted to show you the rosemary. All I do for that is break off a piece and stick it in water, in a little tiny glass of water, like a skinny glass of water. I did that one time. I put it in a vase and put it on the dining table for our meal. And lo and behold, it started growing roots. So that's how easy that is. Oh, I wanted to show you the berries too. So they are great for multiplying by roots. See, they're runners. They send out little runners, and on the bottom of those runners, they have the capability of putting in roots. So that's how they expand their territory. So you can often find a piece that already has roots, or you can take a piece and just lay it down in a direction you want it to go and train it that way. And but yeah, the stems are capable of rooting, so that's fun. And oh yeah, one other little thing. These are dragon fruit. You can break a piece of these off and root these in water. Just break a piece off from another tree. So don't be afraid to experiment too with what you have around you. Like these are more geraniums that we got from a piece, and so are these geraniums that we got from breaking off a piece and sticking it in the ground. So these are a fun one because they're kind of orange. So anyway, be curious and investigative and figure out all kinds of ways you can propagate plants. Oh, this is another one. This is just a beautiful succulent. I don't think it's edible, but it grew from one of these little rosettes. So those are fractal patterns of abundance. Oh yeah, and these aloe, look how much that likes the shade. It's so hot lately. But anyway, the aloe, each one of those could be, it makes multiples of those around it. And so, yes, it's all very infinitely abundant, just like our universe is, I suppose. And so that's a bit about division. Let me know if you have had any success with division with different things in your garden, and let me know if you have any questions or comments. Okay? Well, this is Tutu signing off from Vista, California, the Aloha Food Forest.